Hello, this video is all about my pocket prayer shawl pattern. You can find a link to it in the video notes. What I would like to describe for you today is how to change the color of the bobbles in the pattern so that they're different from the background pattern. Here is a prayer cloth that I knitted where the bobbles are white and they're against a red, white, and blue background. You can see how having the bobbles in a different color makes them really stand out. Now, when I first started knitting this pattern, when I created this pattern and I started to knit it, when I wanted to change the color of the bobbles, I just switched to a different color yarn and I knitted it. And that was fine for a while, but then I discovered that there was a little bit of a marbling effect. Right here you can see this is what happens if you just change color right when you start the bobble. You see this marbling effect. Now, when I first tried this, I didn't think it looked so bad. But then one of the ladies in my prayer shawl group happened to mention that she actually changed color in the row below the bobble. And one day I decided to try it. And that's how it looks when you change color the row before. You can see it's all one color. There's none of that purple marbling up into the orange, and it's nice and clean and neat. So now I'm going to show you a trick that you can use if you want to change the color of the bobble so that it has that nice, clean, and neat appearance. Alright, so here I've started a pocket prayer cloth. Here's the seed stitch border, and I've started the first row of knitting for the background. So now we're just going to flip it over and I'm going to start the purl row. We'll start with our seed stitch border. 1, 2, 3. Now I'm just going to purl until I get to the center stitch. Since this is 15 stitches, it'll be stitch 8. 4, 5, 6, 7. Double check my count here. Yep. Here's stitch 8. So for stitch 8, I'm going to slip that stitch to my right needle. Now I'm going to take my bobble colored yarn, my orange yarn, and I'm going to start with a simple slip stitch. I'm sorry, a simple slip knot. There's my slip knot. And I'm going to slip that knot right onto my right needle, right next to my slipped stitch. Now I'm going to take my left needle and I'm going to pass that slipped stitch over my slip knot stitch. And you can see here, it just looks like any other color of stitch. Just looks like a normal stitch on the needle. So now I'm going to pick up my blue yarn again. I'm just going to kind of twist these two into opposite directions, and I'm going to finish my purl row. And finish with my seed stitch border. Now I will turn the work and start my bobble row. So again, I'll work my seed stitch border, and I will knit until I reach my bobble stitch. Now again, I'm going to twist these yarns so that my orange yarn is secured strongly. And I'm going to start my bobble. We'll knit front and back twice into this bobble stitch. Turn the work. My yarns are really tangled in my cable. That's okay. We'll straighten it up at the end of the row. going to do a row of purl stitches in my bobble stitch. Turn the work again. We'll do my last row of knit stitches in the bobble stitch. And now we'll reduce it back down to one stitch by passing the last 3 stitches one at a time over that first stitch. And there we have our bobble stitch. Now we're going to return to our blue yarn, and again we're going to twist the yarn, the blue yarn over the orange yarn, because we're trying to make sure the fabric around the bobble is nice and tight so we don't get any holes around the bobble. And just to add an extra layer of tightness, we're going to knit the next stitch through the back loop. That always helps to get that fabric around the bobble stitch nice and tight. And now we'll just finish our blue row of stitches and finish off with the seed stitch edge. And there you have it. You have a nice, clean, neat bobble. It's all one color. There's none of that marbling at the bottom, and it looks really sharp. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions about creating different colored bobbles or about anything having to do with this pattern, just comment below. Thanks so much. Bye.